morning, everybody. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2026. And NBA Finals is around 2 weeks away. So we're down just 6 teams in the NBA. So 2 teams already advanced to the conference finals in their respective conferences. Thunder, Western Conference Finals. Knicks, Eastern Conference Finals. Both advanced. So there's a lot to decide who will who will punch their tickets. So we'll find out by the end of this week if that's going to happen on my watch. So nothing else you really want to exchange. So that's that. Okay, so we have a handful of stuff to get to here in this program. But let's get started. Start off with the NFL schedule release. It starts tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. You can see it on NFL Network and ESPN. So right now, 32-team schedule is nearly out. It's going to be out in less than 12 hours. So we get ready because NFL schedule is out in front. All right, so we do have a NFL schedule update, but the biggest news of the day, Seahawks, their Week 1 opponent, will be against the New England Patriots in Seattle, a Super Bowl rematch. This will be the first Super Bowl rematch in an opener since 2016. It was September 8th, 2016. That was the last time we have a Super Bowl rematch in the season opener. It was Panthers and the Broncos. Broncos beat the Panthers on September 8th. So kickoff begins at 8:20 Eastern between the Patriots and Seahawks on NBC and Peacock. So this will be the 21st season on NBC for the NFL kickoff show on NBC. It's been done that since 2006. So Drake May versus Sam Darnold. Expect to be so this will be the third matchup in NFL history. This will be the third Super Bowl rematch matchup in opening week in NFL history, and it's in a Super Bowl era as well. So you can combine those together because of that. So when I talk Super Bowl rematches, I was gonna flash it back, but we talk about the Seattle Seahawks. And all that stuff. We talk about all this. They have a ton of memories between the Seahawks and the Patriots. This is since 2012. Since 2012, Russell Wilson meets Tom Brady in 2012. And I believe that was week 6 in the NFL in 2012. and Seahawks pull off the upset against the Patriots, against defending AFC champions, the New England Patriots. Wilson, that was his first season in the NFL out of University of Nebraska. Tom Brady, was older at the time. I think Brady has won the previous 3 Super Bowls in his career before Wilson got drafted to Seattle. Richard Sherman was talking trash to Tom Brady that day. I mean, it was a highly emotional game between these two teams. These two did not meet each other until 2014-15 Super Bowl 49 in Arizona. Patriots played the Seahawks in Super Bowl 49 in 2014-15 season. And then Patriots were up 28-24. Seahawks had the ball. Then Wilson throws to Jermaine Kearse. Kearse makes a miraculous catch because Russell Wilson's throw wasn't great. But Jermaine Kearse, somehow he makes a miraculous catch. Looked like they have a pretty good chance to repeat Super Bowl champs. And then that play changes everything. Russell Wilson throws a costly interception to Malcolm Butler. He was trying to hand it off to Marshawn Lynch, he would have punched it in for a touchdown. Instead, probably the poorest decision in Russell Wilson's career was throwing an interception to Malcolm Butler in the 4th quarter. And that allowed the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. There's the other memory. And then Seahawks paid back the Patriots in Week 10 of 2016 season. Tom Brady played Week 10. I believe that was his This was his 5th start since his suspension due to Deflategate crisis back in 2014. And these two did not play each other until 2020. Seahawks beat the Patriots. Cam Newton was the Patriots that season. It was Week 2 in 2020 season. It was a COVID year. The game was in Seattle. It was a good game. Seahawks won a close one. And then they didn't play each other until 2024. Seahawks won in overtime. Smith versus Brissett matchup. And then last year's Super Bowl 60, the Seahawks dominated defensively. They beat the Patriots. So Seahawks will face the Patriots for the 3rd consecutive year, either in the regular season or in the playoffs. In 2024, Seahawks won in Week 2 in the regular season in New England. Last year, they beat the Patriots in Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. And now the Seahawks are going to play the Patriots in Lumen Field on September 9th. So we talk about all this, the NFL schedule. Because of that, you really want this schedule to pull things out here. All right, let's move on. Let's stay with the NFL schedule at least. Chiefs and Bills will not be on CBS this year. Chiefs and Bills were on CBS in each of their last 4 seasons at 4:25 Eastern, and the Bills won all 4 of their games. The last time Chiefs and Bills were on primetime was 2021. It was Week 5. It was Bills at Chiefs, and the Bills dominated the Chiefs that day. And then eventually, these two will have to meet again in the playoffs, and the Chiefs won a wild one in the divisional round. We had touchdowns, field goals, and all that stuff in the final minutes. League changes in the final minutes of the fourth quarter in the divisional round, and the Chiefs ended up winning in overtime. It was the greatest game in the divisional round history. That's great history books right there. So far, it will be Chiefs at Bills in Week 12, November 26, 8:20 Eastern on NBC, Thanksgiving night in Buffalo. It will be Chiefs at Bills. It'll be Mahomes versus Allen matchup. Josh Allen in the regular season, he's 5-1 against Patrick Mahomes. In the regular season, Patrick Mahomes is 4-0 in the playoffs. 2-0 in the AFC Championship game and 2-0 in the divisional round, and 1-0 in the divisional round on the road. So right now, another Chiefs and Bills matchup, because the AFC West are facing the AFC East for 4 games this year because of that. So that is the longest active streak between the Chiefs facing the Bills. The matchup began, the first meeting between Mahomes and Allen matchup was 2020. It was the COVID year. So let's take a look at the number of matchups, the number of times they played in a season. Chiefs, in 2020, Chiefs-Bills, they played twice. Chiefs were 2-0 that year. They won Week 6 in the regular season in Buffalo, won the AFC Championship game against the Bills in Kansas City. In 2021, 1-1. The Bills beat the Chiefs in Week 5, but the Chiefs won a thriller in the divisional round against the Bills. In 2022, Bills beat the Chiefs in Week 6. Bills and Chiefs did not play each other in 2022-23 playoffs. In 2023-24 season, Bills beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. 23 season, Bills beat the Chiefs in Week 6. 23-24 season, Bills beat the Chiefs in Kansas City in Week 14. And then in the divisional round, Chiefs beat the Bills in Buffalo in the AFC divisional round thanks to Tyler Bass missed game-tying 44-yard field goal. And in the 2024-25 season, Bills beat the Chiefs in Week 11 in Buffalo, but Chiefs beat the Bills in the AFC Championship game. And then last year, Bills beat the Chiefs in Week 9. But neither team played each other in the playoffs. Chiefs did not make the playoffs. Bills did, but they lost the division round to the Broncos in Denver. So now this season, it will be Chiefs at Bills in Thanksgiving night. So how do I like the prime time between Chiefs and Bills on Thanksgiving night? Yeah, I do. I think that's better because it's better off to go 4:25 Eastern on CBS. This year, 8:20 Eastern on NBC, Thanksgiving night on November 26th. I think that's a great one because it felt like these games are going to be circling out of their schedule because of that one here. So I think Mahomes and Allen matchup on Thanksgiving night could make sense because the Chiefs and Bengals, the Burrow versus Mahomes matchup might be the late window on CBS. Depends on their schedule right now, or they can put this on a Monday Night Football schedule as it develops in this one here. All right, let's stick with the schedule. It'll be the Chicago Bears take out Detroit Lions in Ford Field on November 26th. I think the game will be at 1 Eastern on CBS. So the game will be at 1 Eastern on CBS. It'll be Bears at Lions. Thanksgiving early game. So another most common Thanksgiving opponent matchup for Detroit. They have played Chicago. They have played Green Bay. They have played Minnesota in their own division in Thanksgiving. In those years, they played against AFC opponents for every even Thanksgiving year. Like Houston, New England. We've seen several other teams that is an even year Thanksgiving matchup. In odd years, they're facing NFC teams. Now you can face an NFC team. Since 2014, in even years, they played against NFC teams. They played the Bears in 2014. They played the Vikings in 2016. They played the Bears in 2018. They played the Bears in 2024, and now the Bears this year. So those are the even years. The even years, other than the NFC teams against them since 2014, the Texans 2020, and the Buffalo Bills 2022. So, Lions, by the way, the Lions only won just one of the last 8 games in Thanksgiving since 2016, if I'm correct. Lost to Minnesota 17, lost to Chicago 18, lost to Chicago. Lost to Chicago again in 2019. Lost to Houston. That's 4 losses. Then Chicago again. That's 5. And then Buffalo, lost to Buffalo, that's 6. And then Green Bay, that's 7. They beat Chicago. And they lost to Green Bay last year. Lions have lost 8 of their last 9 Thanksgiving games since 2016. Since the 2016 Thanksgiving, the Lions have lost 9 of their last 10. They struggled in Thanksgiving at home. They have. It's not a surprise at all. The other schedule I threw out is the Packers and Rams on Thanksgiving Eve, November 25th. It'll be Packers at the Rams. Kickoff will begin at 8 Eastern on Netflix between the Packers at the Rams in SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. So you got Jordan Love versus Matthew Stafford matchup. That's going to be fun. When we talk about these NFL schedule releases, we've seen some major ones right now. So, we can see all the biggest headlines in the NFL. The first Thanksgiving Eve game in NFL history. So, here we go. This will be historical Thanksgiving weekend, the Thanksgiving week. This will be the most historical Thanksgiving week in NFL history. We had Thanksgiving Eve, Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, and then the next month we have Christmas holidays. We have Saturdays, week 15. We had Christmas Day on Friday this year, December 25th, for 3 games. I'm not sure we have a Christmas Eve game on Thursday Night Football. We have we have so many incredible Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays and New Year's as well. NBC gets 2 games in Week 17 on January 2nd, the day after the New Year's Day in 2027. So this is going to be a historical NFL schedule. I mean, it's coming out hot. Now, high anticipated Thanksgiving Eve matchup between the Packers and Rams. It may not get any better than this. So get yourself ready. Get your popcorn ready, because the Packers and Rams are coming to Netflix. It should be exciting. This one here. All right, so to confirm, it would be Rams and the 49ers in Melbourne on Netflix at 8 Eastern on September 10th. So the flagship has the media has confirmed to this one here. All right, so Week 15, Fox and CBS will have their primetime games nationally this season. So there's a lot going on in this NFL as we're approaching we're drawing to a close right now. This is incredible. What an unbelievable, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but those are the notable schedules. Any other schedule I would love to throw out, if that's going to be the case? I would love to see the NFL schedule release at the end of the time. How about this? Patriots and Bears on October 22nd, which is Week 7, Thursday Night Football in Chicago. It will be Drake May versus Caleb Williams. Can you believe this? I believe that these two teams are going to salt each other out. And also, Patriots will host the Vikings on December 10th in Week 14, another Thursday Night Football matchup. So Patriots will have Saturday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and 3 Thursday Night football games, including not 3 Thursday Night Football, 2 Thursday Night Football games, and an NFL kickoff. So Patriots will get more primetime games than usual each of the last couple of years. Defending AFC champions, the New England Patriots, will get more primetime games. And 2 of them will face, the Patriots will get more 4:25 Eastern games. Patriots will see the Broncos AFC Championship rematch might be on CBS. The AFC Championship rematch will be in New England and expect to be the middle or late in the season. And then the Patriots will play the Bills in their late game as well, or most likely a Monday Night Football game in Foxborough. So there's a lot going on of their schedule. So we can see everything else to go with it in this one here. So that's a path of excitement. Let's just say this NFL schedule would have asked, you can do everything. You can do everything what's best for everyone. That's been a good difference right now in this one. We'll talk more NFL schedule release. It's going to reveal tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. I will talk more about that. I'll talk the week 1 matchups tomorrow. Who will be your 16 week 1 games? All right. When we coming up next, we'll recap the Cavaliers and Pistons in Game 5 from last night. It was a wild finish in Detroit. We'll find out who took Game 5. And then the NFL quarterbacks are set to hit the field as NFL schedule releases tonight. And then also, who will be the toughest division in the NFL in 2026-27 season? So this is going to be a big test in 2026 and 2027 season, because division is about competitiveness in this one here. All right, JDB's Morning Cap will continue right after this. Welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. Last night, Game 5 in Detroit. It was a fun one last night. Pistons were up by 9 with 2.5 minutes left to play, but the Pistons slipped away down the stretch. The Cavaliers had no field goals at one point, but the Cavaliers came alive down the stretch. Edge here as the Cavaliers end up winning 117-113 in overtime to take the series lead 3-2. And James Harden led the way with 30 points. Despite he went 8 for 21 from the field. But the Cavaliers get their first road playoff win of this playoffs. So how big of a win was Cleveland in Game 5? It was a big win for the Cavs, especially on the road. They have been 0-5 away from Cleveland in this playoffs until last night. We talk about James Harden. He has to play a lot of confidence, and he has. We talk about Evan Mobley. He has to play a lot of confidence. Then Donovan Mitchell, he did have 21. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well yesterday. He did have 21 points. But the guy who made a play last night, Max Strus, 6 for 8 from downtown and from the field, 20 points as well. Max Strus has having a nice series so far. He's given a huge lift for this Cleveland Cavaliers. So if he continues to stay that way, then that will be that in this one here. So let's just say this, the Cleveland Cavaliers now you can see, now that the Cavs are in clearly better position to win this series. So, Cavaliers finished a 23-10 run in a final 7:59 left. In the last final 7 minutes and 59 seconds. Towards the run began by the late fourth quarter to end of overtime. So, we offer Detroit a really tough loss, a frustration late game loss from Detroit due to a late game frustration offense. They're missing a lot of shots. Some of them have been good looks, some of them have not been quality results. Detroit, I know it's been up and down in this series, but Cade Cunningham had 39 points, but he wasn't involved a lot in the fourth quarter that much. Dennis Jenkins had a nice first career playoff start with 19 points, but there's a chance the Pistons could lose this series because of Jalen Duren has not been smooth so far, not just in this series, majority of the playoffs. That doesn't mean I blame Jalen Duren in the playoffs. That doesn't mean I'm going to blame Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren just hasn't been good enough so far in this postseason. So he needs to be better. And now the Pistons are facing elimination for the fourth time in the playoffs. Pistons are 3-0 in this situation. So Cavaliers got to be careful if you try to close it out. So this is it. It's a do or die game for Detroit. How Detroit is desperate to keep their dream season alive, it's been a hard fought battle in this series. To me, it's really tough. It is really tough to get through that in the process, but and I would have stand for it. The Pistons' struggle offensively in the fourth quarter is due to missed opportunities, shooting the basketball, some crucial turnovers. Cade Cunningham, in overtime, Cade Cunningham had a costly turnover the 2:32 mark in overtime, allowed Donovan Mitchell scored to make this a 7-point Cleveland lead. That lapse just can't happen if you're Cade Cunningham. That's been brewing this postseason. The turnovers have been an issue for Cade Cunningham. Now, he's gone to every postseason game when he's accounted at least 4 turnovers. He just has to play better with his ball security. Even the Pistons don't advance. The Pistons do need another ball handling to learn how Cade Cunningham how to become a better guard. He's a good player, but he needs to. But his ball security has still been an issue. If he can get better in the offseason, then he can be an all-around player. So, and that's that. The Cavs up 3-2. Donovan Mitchell, by the way, this will be his first closeout game in the semifinals in his career. He's never had a clinching opportunity in a second round. So this is his first. And hopefully it's a good one on Friday in Cleveland. I mean, we've just been talking about all this and all that stuff. We've seen everything to go with it. And now you see it my way, right? I wouldn't have a chance. I wouldn't have a chance to see that. And let's just say everyone's going to be on the field, on the court, and you would have took that deal, right? So that'll be that. All right, when we come back on JDB's morning camp, we'll talk NFL quarterbacks are ready to hit the field when the schedule releases. And then we'll talk about who will be the toughest division in football in 2026-27 season. We will step away in about a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to JDB's morning cap. We're talking about the NFL quarterbacks are ready to hit the field when the schedule releases. So there's a lot to sort out here in the NFL schedule. NFL quarterbacks. All right, so right now, let's take a look here. So week one starters, even though the schedule hasn't come out yet for the week one schedule and otherwise. But it's not the problem. Yeah, so the NFL quarterbacks, like I said, they're get ready to hit the field. But so potential week one starter. So for the AFC East, we know it's Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. We know it's Drake May, the New England Patriots. We know it's Geno Smith with the New York Jets. But the Dolphins is Malik Willis for sure. The AFC North, Joe Burrow, the Bengals. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. But the Steelers and Browns situation is really tough right now. So if it's no Aaron Rodgers, then Mason Rudolph will get the week one starter. If it's for the Browns, it's Shedeur Sanders for sure. As for if Rodgers does come back, then Rodgers will start week one for the Pittsburgh Steelers. For the AFC South, Daniel Jones, the Colts, Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars, Cam Ward, Tennessee Titans, C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans. The AFC West, Justin Herbert, the Chargers, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos. The Raiders were not sure, either it's Fernando Mendoza or Kirk Cousins. Most likely, we're going to put Kirk Cousins first because he had experience. Right now, we're going to delay Fernando Mendoza because it's going to take time to develop consistency for Mendoza. He'll play later in the season for sure. The NFC East is Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys, Jackson Dart, New York Giants, Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles, Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. For the NFC North, Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers, Caleb Williams, the Chicago Bears, Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions. But the Vikings have their quarterback situation. Most likely it's going to be Kyler Murray over J.J. McCarthy. Because I think Kyler has more starts than J.J. McCarthy. But both quarterbacks have missed a handful of games. So Minnesota Vikings quarterback situation has been dire. Meanwhile, for the NFC South, Tyler Shugg of the New Orleans Saints will start we'll get week one start. Baker Mayfield, Buccaneers, Tua Tagovailoa, Falcons. Uncle Penix Jr. will be competing for that as well. And then Bryce Young, the Carolina Panthers. The NFC West, the MVP Matthew Stafford, the Rams, Sam Darnold, Seahawks, Brock Purdy, the 49ers, and Jacoby Brissett, the Arizona Cardinals. So those are the potential week one starters. Projections. Who will be your top? Who do you think who's my top 5 best quarterback according to JDB's morning cap? Number 1 is Josh Allen. He'll hit the field. That's number 1. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Matthew Stafford is number 3. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals, and number 5. Uh, whew, who my number 5 best quarterback that I'm gonna choose? I gotta choose the AFC. I'm gonna go with Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna go with Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. So right now, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, and Jordan Love is my top 5. The players, quarterbacks who left out top 5: Dak Prescott, Drake May, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, for sure. Caleb Williams. So that's my quarterbacks who left out the top 5. So, no disrespect for the Patriots. Drake May had a solid season last year, but I would not put Drake May in the top 5 because you know what happened in the Super Bowl and what happened in the playoffs and what happened in the MVP voting last year. So I will not put Drake May as a top 5 quarterbacks in 2026-2027. Yes, pressure is on May as well, although I love him to death, but we're not going to put him on the list, top 5 quarterbacks on the list. So the reason why I chose Jordan Love the final spot, because I think Jordan Love will perform at a high level in 2026-27 season. He's trying to win the MVP. But last year, he put up outstanding numbers when he got hurt. Even when he got hurt, he still put up good numbers. But the Packers season got off to a flashy hot start. They started the season 8-3-1. Looked like the Packers are going to get the huge laugh to win the NFC North Division. At correction, they started 9-3-1. I'm incorrect. The Packers started 9-3-1, and then they ended the regular season on a They ended the regular season and postseason a 5-game losing streak. 4-game losing streak in the regular season to end the season, and then they lost the wild card round against the Bears in a heartbreak. I knew Green Bay was going to go down, and I'm surprised Matt LaFleur kept his job in Green Bay, despite the late season collapse last year, when I was talking about it earlier this year. Like I said, we know Michael Parsons is going to miss the first 4 games. He tore his ACL late last year. If it wasn't for his ACL torn, the Packers would have gone to the Super Bowl. No Michael Parsons is going to be challenging for the Packers defense. I have Packers missing the playoffs this year. Even though this team is talented, they just don't have enough firepower to get into the postseason. We know since Aaron Rodgers left, Packers have made the playoffs in each of the last 3 years. Even Aaron Rodgers left from Green Bay. The Packers' offense just got progressively better without Aaron Rodgers, because the young quarterback Jordan Love, he believes that he's progressing consistently year in and year out. I cannot agree more. But for Josh Allen, for the Buffalo Bills, I chose Josh Allen number one because I think he's the guy who's going to win MVP for the second time in 3 years. But this time, his team's trying to carry his team to the Super Bowl with his young coach, Joe Brady. And now you add DJ Moore, the wide receiver. And if you want to be in the mix for this championship, you got yourself in the mix. The other quarterback I throw out is Matthew Stafford. I chose Matthew Stafford number 3, even though he won the MVP, because Matthew Stafford put up outstanding numbers last year, and I think the Rams could get to the Super Bowl this year too, with his talented roster. Their expectation is high as well for Sean McVay. The Rams are probably going to be the best team in the NFC. Like, if they can beat Philadelphia, if they can beat Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, and several other NFC teams, that is good. Like Green Bay, if they can beat these teams, they can win. They can easily win the division. I would say easily. They can hardly win this division. They can end up roughly 15 wins. That's how good they are. The Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford, man. But this was the right path to get on your feet. There's somebody with a guy in your seat right now. So that's that. All right, when we come back, we're going to find out who is the best, toughest division in the NFL for the 2026-27 season, as the NFL schedule releases is approaching tonight. We'll talk, and then we'll wrap things up with what's coming up in tomorrow's episode of May 15th. Today, this is episode 91. Tomorrow will be episode 92. We're an inch closer for episode number 100, which is a milestone. We'll be right back. All right, so we're down to this one, the AFC. Let's take a look at who are the top, biggest, toughest divisions in the NFL in 2026-27 season. All right, I'm going to pick the top 4 best, toughest division, and then and then there's like as far as strongest, and then who the top 4 weakest divisions in the NFL, which is the worst. So I'm going to rank. So I'm going to go start from lowest to the highest, like from worst to first. So let's take a look. Let's start with number 8. Number 8 is going to be the NFC South. The NFC South division stinks. Last year, no NFC South team has a winning record. Last year, the Panthers won division with an 8-9 record. The Panthers finished 3-3 against their own division. They won twice against the Falcons, once against the Buccaneers. Out of the 2, lost to the Saints twice. The reason why they won a tiebreaker is based on head-to-head, division head-to-head record against their own division. Panthers have wins against the Buccaneers in Week 16. They beat the Falcons twice in Weeks 3 and 11. The only loss in that division for the Panthers is against the Buccaneers Week 18. So the Panthers went 3-1 in those matchups. Buccaneers in those matchups. So it was a 3-way tie. Number 2 was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They finished 8-9. Second best head-to-head record against the NFC South. They beat the Falcons 1 out of 2. And they beat the Panthers 1 out of 2. So the Buccaneers went 2-2 in those matchups. And the Falcons, number 3. the Falcons went 1-3 in those matchups against the Buccaneers and the Panthers. So the tiebreak, the first way tiebreaker is in favor of the Panthers. That's the reason why they won division. And then the Saints finish 6-11 last season. So that the NFC South is the weakest division in football. That's for sure. Number 7, it's the AFC South. Last year, we only had 2 winning records. Jacksonville and the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans had 2 winning records last year. But I put AFC South number 7 because we talk about the quarterback situation. The quarterback's play has been better at times, but we talk about the inconsistency in their quarterback position. We know for Jacksonville Jaguars, they finished a magical 12-5 season. Unfortunately, the magical run came up short in the AFC wildcard round against the Buffalo Bills. But Trevor Lawrence, expectations for Trevor Lawrence is high in 2026. Hopefully he can win the MVP someday. I think Trevor Lawrence will try to get the big still to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL if he can cut down his turnovers. And the receivers need to cut down their drops. Then the Houston Texans, so Jacksonville finishing the season 13-4. Jacksonville's season ended 13-4 in 2025. Houston went 12-5 last year. They finished the season I believe they started the season the Texans season didn't start the way they hoped in 2025-26 season. They started season 3-5, and then they had a 10-game winning streak towards the end of the regular season, all the way through the AFC wildcard game against the Steelers, and then they end up dropping divisional round to the New England Patriots. So, Texas, this is their second season in franchise history. Started the season 0-3 and ended up making the postseason. I mean, that's incredible. We see another incredible accomplishment for the Houston Texans. We've seen all of that in this one. And then the Indianapolis Colts got off to a 8-2 start, but they ended the regular season. They started 7-1 through the first 8 games, but they end up losing 8 of the final 9 games to end the 89 season. Daniel Jones got hurt in Week 14 against Jacksonville. Phillip Rivers took over in 3 of the final 4 games of the regular season. Riley Leonard took over in the final game of the regular season. Now, the road to recover Daniel Jones is going to be huge for this one here. And then Cam Ward of the Tennessee Titans. Last year, Tennessee Titans went 3-14. I think Tennessee will be a little bit better this year. But the biggest question, can Cam Ward be accurate in the passing game in 2026? So it's going to be critical for Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh is a new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. We already know that story. Number 6 is the AFC. Is it AFC East? Yeah, AFC East. Well, I'm surprised. The AFC East is the third weakest division in the NFL. The AFC East. We know that the Bills and the Patriots both were in the postseason bound last year. The Dolphins and the Jets are a disaster. So I choose AFC East to be the third weakest division in the NFL. Patriots had made the playoffs just twice without Tom Brady. Twice since Tom Brady left. So that's that. Now, and one Super Bowl appearance since Brady has left New England and Belichick. One of those seasons, Bill Belichick left New England after the 2023-24 season. So now we can see the biggest concern right now is Mike Vrabel. I'm concerned about Mike Vrabel because of relationship situation with other women. So we're gonna keep their fingers crossed. And then Buffalo Bills, the Patriots are defending AFC East champions and defending AFC Conference champions at the same time. The Buffalo Bills will win division this year. I think this Bills team is talented enough to win division. Josh Allen get into the playoffs and all that stuff. And you got the Miami Dolphins. You signed Malik Willis with a 3-year contract. Try to hit the field consistently and try to get these guys involved in the game. And that's that. And then you got the New York Jets. They brought Geno Smith back. That's good. But the Jets are not good enough. They'll be better, but they're not good enough. And then number 5 is the NFC East. The NFC East. The NFC East is horrible. We talk about the Philadelphia Eagles winning the division last year. Dallas Cowboys missing the playoffs. Washington and New York Giants are both missing the playoffs in their roots last year. But let's talk Philadelphia. Pressure's on the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And because of that, you're going through the static situations. Because of that, this is the biggest one you really want to see in this one here. So if that's that, then that's not a problem. So then you got Dallas. They got to get back to the postseason bound this year if they want to win games. Dallas needs something to go their way, like Dak Prescott. They need to perform at a high level. Defense has to perform better. They don't have to be top 5, top 10. They got to be better in that situation. Then you got Washington. Tough season last year. Jaden Daniels got hurt. We all know that. But now for the Commanders, they brought Mariota back to make sure if Daniels is healthy enough to start the season. So the Commanders are still not making the playoffs. But they'll be better, but they're not getting in. And then the New York Giants, it's just a 1 to 2 year process. John Harbaugh, head coach. Jackson Dart, sophomore season, expect to be different for him. Expect The Giants will be better. Like I said, still not buying a playoff bound yet in this one here. All right, that's my top 4 weakest divisions in the NFL. The weakest is the NFC South. Who are my top 4 strongest division in the NFL? Let's start at number 4. Number 4 is the AFC North. Last year, although we have 1 winning record, but the AFC North is going to be the 4th strongest division. So you got Cincinnati and Baltimore. Pittsburgh could be in the mix. If Aaron Rodgers does come back, then there's not going to be a losing record once again. So we got we got Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Baltimore. Pittsburgh won division last year. But who am I picking to win division this year? The Baltimore Ravens. I like the Baltimore Ravens winning division. With a young coach, resurgence of Lamar Jackson, try to get back to his MVP form. Ravens defense will improve, and they'll take the division crown once again. 3 of the last 4 years if Ravens would win the division. Cincinnati, I think Cincinnati will be back next year too. I think they're a playoff bound. Joe Burrow, their offense is pretty good. They show they know what they're capable of. But I got questions on defense. There's some question marks on defense. Can the defense, offense will win games, but can the defense make the playoffs? That's the big question. Can defense win division? That's the question. Can a defense get to the Super Bowl? That's the question. For the Cincinnati Bengals, the process is going to work out for the best in this one here. And you got Cleveland. Cleveland's got no heart. I love Shadir Sanders to death, but boy, the rest of the offense is not that great. And reigning defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett, I love him to death too, but the fan base is pretty decent. I just don't like the team in general. Cleveland is not part of this group to be in the mix for the AFC North Division. I'm sorry. They could compete. They can compete against any other division. Browns had 2 division wins last year. They beat the Steelers and the Bengals last year. They can beat some good teams. They can beat some teams right there. Number 3 is the AFC West. The AFC West. Broncos won division last year. Chargers got into the postseason. Chiefs did not make the playoffs. Raiders were a disaster. So, the AFC West is my number 3 toughest division in the NFL. I think the Chiefs will win division this year. The Broncos and Chargers were both in the playoffs. Like I said, 3 teams were in the playoffs a couple of years ago for the AFC West teams. Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos were all in the playoffs in 2024-25 season. Last year, just Chargers and Broncos. This year, it's going to be a strong division. Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs will have to fight for the AFC West crown. But I like the Chiefs to solidify their position because of Patrick Mahomes. Try to get to the Super Bowl once again. Try to continue their legacy. Continue their run. Last year, disappointing, understandable. And that's a different story right now. You try to put yourself in a position to get to the playoffs. And that's that. And you got the Chargers back-to-back 11-6 seasons. But they both got bounced out of the walk around to the Texans in 2024-25 walk around and last year's walk around against the Patriots. So the Chargers' expectations is still high, although I would put them under the most pressure if that's the cause because of all that. And then you got the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are one of the biggest stories in the NFL. Almost got to the Super Bowl last year. If it wasn't for Bo Nix's injury, they would have made it. I'm not sure if they would have made the Super Bowl. Maybe not. But they'll be better this year, though. If that's going to be the case. And then the Raiders, it's been a disaster. I think they'll be better this year. But the quarterback situation between Cousins and Mendoza is going to be vital. So, because I don't know who's going to do the better job for the Raiders. Raiders are probably going to win. They're still going to win low volume of games. But they're going to be better. If they can beat some good teams, I think their future is bright for the Raiders years to come. We've seen several other instances that your team has been either average or bad team considerably. Number 2 is the NFC West. Last year, 3 teams were in the playoffs. Last year, the 49ers, Rams, and defending Super Bowl champs Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks won the NFC West division last year. They beat the 49ers and the Rams. Seahawks beat the Rams and the Seahawks. Seahawks beat the Rams and the 49ers in the regular season and the postseason. It's been happened several times in NFL history. You beat multiple division opponents in the same season, in the regular season and postseason. Seahawks beat the 49ers in the regular season and playoffs in 2013. But NFC West should have been number 1, and rightfully so. But NFC West is number 2, second best division in the NFL. I should have put number 1, but number 2 is the NFC West. You got the Rams in the mix, and then 49ers with a resurgent season last year, 12-5. Rams 12-5 as well, and the Seahawks 14-3. Arizona Cardinals are not in the mix. They're going to be worse, for sure. Cardinals might be favored to win the number 1 NFL draft in 2027. Will the Cardinals get Arch Manning in 2027? Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. They will. You got Brock Purdy, the 49ers, you got Trent Williams, and all that stuff. Christian McCaffrey. You just lost Jawan Jennings to the Minnesota Vikings, unfortunately. Jawan Jennings will face his former team, by the way, in Mexico City. Jawan Jennings will face his former team, where he played at. So, that will be a path of excitement because of that. You want to see it happen? Maybe. And then Rams. And number 1 is the NFC North. NFC North will be the best division in football. You got Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota. In fact, I'm going to buy roughly 3 teams in the playoffs. Detroit, Chicago, and Green Bay. All right, not Green Bay. Minnesota could be in. If Kyler Murray and otherwise plays better, they could be in the playoffs. They got defense as well. But to me, the NFC North is the best division in football because of that. Who am I picking winning the NFC North division? It's Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions will win the NFC North division. I'm still buying Chicago in the playoffs. The Minnesota Green Bay situation is going to fight it. The Green Bay, I pick Green Bay missing the playoffs because their expectation is high and then things may not live up to the hype. Unfortunately, it's going to break Matt LaFleur's heart because of that. So the NFC North is the best division in football, according to JDB's morning cap. So number 1 is the NFC North. Number 2, NFC West. Number 3, AFC West. Number 4, AFC North. That's the top 4 best. The top 4 worst. The top 4 worst divisions in football. Number 1 is the NFC South. Number 2, AFC South. Number 3, AFC East. Number 4, NFC East. That's the top 4 worst divisions in football. So we talk about the toughest divisions in the NFL is the NFC North. Expect to be competitive in this one here. All right, let's close it out on JDB's morning cap. What's coming up in tomorrow's show? What's coming up tomorrow on episode 92? Tomorrow, we'll preview Game 6 for 2 games. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. It will be the Cavaliers hosting the Pistons in Cleveland, with Cleveland being up 3-2. Spurs head back on the road in Minnesota to face the Timberwolves. Spurs has a series lead 3-2. So, first matchup of the Prime Video doubleheader, 7 Eastern, will have Pistons at Cavs. And then at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, West semis will have Spurs at Timberwolves. And then we'll also talk the biggest winners and losers of the NFL schedule release. I'm going to pick my top 5 teams, the biggest winners of the NFL schedule release, and the top 5 losers of the NFL schedule releases. I'll talk about that tomorrow. And also, can the Cowboys revive and get to the Super Bowl? They have not done that in the past handful of decades. So hopefully Dak Prescott can change that going into the season. All right. That is going to do it on this phenomenal day. This is JDB's morning cap. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Enjoy your day, guys.